Alright, so I'm going to try to make this video as quick as possible. If you have any questions, don't forget I'll answer any questions you guys have at the beginning of class. I need to solve for x, so I need to isolate the variable x by subtracting 7 to both sides of my equation, since the opposite of 7 is to subtract 7. So I get negative 7 is equal to negative 84. Add, keep sign because they're both negative, so you get a bigger negative. Negative 7x means negative 7 times x, so the opposite of multiplying by negative 7 is to divide by negative 7, and negative 84 divided by negative 7 is positive 12. So there's number 1. Number 1b, you need to solve for b, so this time the opposite of adding 4 is to subtract by 4. So negative 2b is equal to negative 16. The opposite of multiplying by negative 2 is to divide by a negative 2, and negative 2 divided into negative 16 will give you a positive 8. So negative 16 divided by negative 2, positive 8. Number 3, this question, 2a and 2b. This question is identical, except I just changed some of the numbers. If you read the problem, it's going to tell you that Kurt gets $11.50 per hour at the cafe, and he works T hours at the cafe, so that means $11.50 T. Plus, so it's what he makes at the cafe, plus what he makes babysitting. So babysitting, he made $15 per hour for B hours. So $15 per hour B hours, so there it is. And in question 2B, it would be pretty much the same thing, $13 per hour at the cafe. He worked T hours, so 13T, plus babysitting, $20 per hour to babysit for B hours, so $20 per B hours. Read the problem so you understand what it's asking. Number 3 is exactly the same on your quiz. So if you're watching this video, yay for you. Exactly the same, except the order of A, B, C, D, E is switched. So A might be E, D might be B, but it's the same problem. They want you to figure out which ones are the same. So for question 3, if I solve this, this is distributed property because 6 times 2y is 12y, and 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. I can't combine any of these. They're not like terms. So now I'm just going to check which ones are the same. P is just P, so that one's good. 12y is just 12y, and negative 24 is negative, not positive, so A is out. Now if you check, this one is correct. P plus 12y minus 24 is the same as this guy. Now D is out, and so is C is the same answer. Notice how they just swapped the 12y and the negative 24. So he's still an answer. But now I have to figure out if B is an answer, and I can't figure it out yet until I use distributive property. So P minus 6 distributed with 4 minus 2y, this is going to give me P negative 6 times 4 is equal to negative 24, and negative 6 times negative 2y is going to give me positive 12y, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Now if you look at these, are these the same? The answer is yes. The only difference is that they're in a different order, but they're exactly the same. This question, you need to read it. It's saying that you're going to buy 2 movie tickets plus nachos for your total cost. So we don't know how much the tickets cost, so the tickets are going to be X. So 2 times X tickets plus the nachos cost $5.50, and the total that you're spending is $25. So I need to solve for X. So the opposite of adding 550 is to subtract 550. So the $25 minus the 550 will end up giving you $19.50. This is what 2 tickets cost. So now when you divide both sides by 2, you're going to end up getting $9.75 per ticket. So each movie ticket, you need to explain your answer. Each movie ticket costs $9.75. So each movie ticket costs $9.75. Now, I'm not going to do question 4B because it's pretty much the same thing. The only thing that's going to change is the cost of the nachos and the total cost. So it's going to be identical. So you can practice 4B. I just did 4A. So here's 4B. Your equation should be 2x again plus the nachos equal to the total cost. The cost of the tickets when you're done solving this should be $12.65 if you did it correctly. So you try this question, and if you get stuck, I'll answer it tomorrow. Question number 5A is read the problem. Don't forget, you always need to read it. You're buying 10 gift bags, so it's the cost of the bag plus the additional charge for the actual bag, or the... Sorry, let me go back to explain it. You have 10 bags, so that's why it's 10 times. And you're going to put an item in the bag. You don't know what the item costs, so we let it equal X. But the bag is $1.65, so the $1.65 is for the cost of the bag. They don't want to spend, cannot spend more than $80. So that means less than or equal to 80. You can solve this different ways. I'm going to solve this using distributive property, but there's a shorter way, but you know, we got to practice. So I'm going to use distributive property to distribute by 10, getting 10x plus 1650, because 10 times x is 10x, and 10 times $1.75 is $16.50. Solve for x by subtracting $16.50, and when you do that, you're going to end up getting $63.50. Divide both sides by 10, because the opposite of multiplying by 10 is to divide by 10. So you're going to end up getting that 63.50 divided by 10 is $6.35. So the most that the item can cost Marcus is $6.35. If the item that he's putting inside the bag costs more than $6.35, then he can't spend it, because then he'll go over his budget. 6A and 6B are pretty much the same thing. I'm going to just solve one of them, but I don't expect you to make this question complicated. But we need to find what she earned per hour for babysitting. So if you just look at the first sentence, it tells you that she worked 5 hours times her hourly pay, so how much she's getting paid, equals what she got paid for the 5 hours. So that's the same as saying 5x equals 44, where x represents the amount of money she's getting paid per hour. So if you solve for x by dividing by 5, you're going to notice that she's getting paid a total of $8.80 per hour. So this is how much she's getting paid per hour. Well, if you read the problem, it tells you that on Wednesday, so 2 days later, she works for 3 hours at the same rate. So for 3 hours, she got paid $8.80, which is equal to $26.40. Okay, so this is for the 3 hours. This is for the 5 hours. Then it says she got a tip. They want to know how much she made. So it's a $44 plus the 3 hours of babysitting, which was $26.40, plus her tip of $20. So if you add up her pay for babysitting again, and her tip, you should end up getting $90.40. Okay, so you guys try 6B. If you get stuck, I can answer 6B in class. Number 7, for those of you watching this video, is the exact same question. So, exactly the same. So if you understand this, you should do well on 7A and B. So if you read the question, they want to know when they're going to charge the same amount. That means company number 1 has to equal company number 2. Well, company number 1 charges $45 per month plus 25 cents per text message, where I'm going to let M equal the number of text messages. The reason why 25 cents gets the variable is because you want to figure out how many text messages need to be sent. So the one that has text messages gets the variable. Equals, it needs to cost the same at both companies. So the second company costs $70 per month plus 15 cents per text message. So text message gets the variable. To solve for m, I need to isolate the variable. So I'm going to move the smaller m, which is 15 cents m. And when I subtract 15 cents m, I'm going to get 45 plus 10 cents m is equal to 70. Solve for m, by getting rid of the 45. So the opposite of 45 is minus 45. And you get 10 cents m equals 70 minus 45 is 25. When you divide both sides by 10 cents, because you want to isolate the variable, so the opposite of multiplying by 10 cents is to divide, you're going to get 250. So it's going to take 250 text messages for the company to charge the same. This is the interpretation piece. So for part A, you're going to write the equation, which is this one. For part B, you're solving it and interpreting it. Then it went from 7 to 9 on the handout, and that's okay. We're going to solve the inequality. So I have negative d's on both sides. The bigger negative is negative d. He's a larger value at a larger value than the negative 3d, because it's the opposite for adding and subtracting, or for positives and negatives, I mean. So I'm going to move the 3d over so that the d stays positive. So I'm going to get 8 plus 2d is greater than or equal to 4. Okay. Now I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides of my inequality. So again, I moved the 3d so that my d would end up being positive, which I have because it's positive 2d. So now I get positive 2d is greater than or equal to negative 4, because 4 minus 8 is negative 4. Divide both sides by 2. D is going to be greater than or equal to negative 2. That's my answer. Now I need to graph this. So here's negative 2, open or closed circle. It's going to be a closed circle, meaning it's going to be colored in because I have the equal to part, which is that little line. And the inequality points to the right. So it's all the values to the right. So negative 1, 0, 1, 2, etc. It keeps on going. The next question is asking you to solve, but you're using distributive property. So 2 times 3x is 6x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Is greater than or equal to 9x minus 10. Now this looks like the previous question that's numbered number 9. So we're going to solve the inequalities by moving the smaller x, which is 6x. So I'm doing the opposite, which is to subtract it, getting 3x. Now I want to solve for x by getting rid of the negative 10, which is to add 10. So I end up getting 2 is greater than or equal to 3x, because negative 8 plus 10 is 2. Divide both sides by 3, because that's the number in front of my x, and I get 2/3 is greater than or equal to x. But Mrs. Gomez doesn't like the x in the back. So we're going to rewrite the x, rewrite the 2/3, and what happens to your inequality? It flips. I have to graph this one. In case I do have to graph it, I'm not sure. I would write 2/3 or 0.67 or 0.66, however you want to write it. It's a closed circle because of the equal to part, so that means I have to color it in, and this inequality points to the left, so it's all the answers to the left. Because remember, the inequality, your arrow has to be the same as your inequality, as long as the x is in the front, and the equal to part tells you whether or not it's shaded. Okay, number 11. Tracy is buying 12 shirts for the drama club. She will choose a style for the blank shirt and then pay $2.75 to have the logo put on each blank shirt. This is a similar question to question number 5. So 12 shirts. It's the cost of the shirt, the blank shirt, plus $2.75 for the logo. But she can't spend more than $99, so less than or equal to $99. When we use distributive property, we're going to get 12x plus 12 times 275 is 33, and then I have to solve for x by getting rid of the 33. So I'm going to be left with 12x is less than or equal to 66. And when you take 66 and divide it by 12, because we want to solve for x, you're going to end up getting 550. So the blank shirt has to cost $5.50. That's the most it can cost. If it costs more than $5.50, and she will not be in her budget, she'll go over budget, so $5.50 and less. Okay, number 12 is like questions 3 and 4 in your warm-up. Because both, for A, the inequalities go away from each other, this is an OR. So this is going to be x with the inequality or x with the other inequality. The inequality has a dot at 3, and the arrow is pointing to the left, so I know this will be less than or equal to because it's colored in. And the one on the right is colored in, and it's pointing to the right, so I know this is greater than or equal to 5. B is an AND, which means less than or equal to or just less than, because these go toward each other. Now, they're both not colored in, so I know they're both going to be less than. At what number? 0 and at 9. Okay, number 12 has the word AND. So I already know when I graph this, they're going to meet toward each other because it says AND. Remember, AND meets toward each other. ORs are the ones that go away from each other. So I'm going to solve each variable by adding 10 here, getting negative 7, and here I have to subtract by 4, and when I subtract from 4, I'm going to get 8. So when I graph this, at negative 7 on my number line, closed circle because of the equal to part, and the inequality points to the right, and at 8, it's a closed circle because of the little equal to line, and the inequality points to the right. So the solution is from negative 7 to 8 and everything included because the dots are colored in. All right, here's the video. Study, study, study. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you have any last minute questions, don't worry. I'll go over some at the beginning of class. All right.